Afghanistan hogged the limelight with their sensational victory over England that ended the road for George Butler and company in the Champions Trophy 2025. But now their own fate, Afghanistan's own fate, hangs by a fine thread. After losing to South Africa, they faced England and they defeated George Butler and his men by 8 runs in a sensational game to stand a chance while England were eliminated. Their next hurdle was the game against Australia, and the challenge was to defeat Steve Smith and company to make it to the semi-finals. Well, in that game on Friday, Afghanistan batted first, scored 273 in 50 overs. Sadiqullah Atal top scored for Afghanistan with 85 runs, and then Azmatullah Omarzai gave the finishing touches with a fantastic 67-run innings of 63 deliveries. For Australia, Ben Warshuis returned 3 wickets for 47 runs in 9 overs. Then in return, Australia were tasked to chase 274. Matthew Short and Travis Head forged a 44-run stand opening partnership, but once Short was dismissed, Travis Head was joined by captain Steve Smith. Head smashed a half-century, but then came the rain. It interrupted when Australia were 109 for 1 in 12.5 overs. Unfortunately, the game could not progress further. It ended without a result, which resulted in Australia's qualification for the semi-final. Australia got a point and they headed to the semi-final. They are already qualified now, but Afghanistan remain heartbroken because they bagged a point, but now their fate depends upon the South Africa versus England game, which is going to happen on Saturday. Now, after this Afghanistan versus Australia game, let's have a look at the points table of Group B. Now, Australia with 4 points out of 3 games, they have qualified for the semi-final. South Africa are currently standing at number 2 with 3 points out of 2 matches. Afghanistan have 3 points from as many games, and England, as we spoke about it earlier, they are eliminated with 0 points and 2 losses. Now, how can Afghanistan still qualify for the semi-final? That's the big question. Do they still, stand a chance? Well, there are slight possibilities, but that practically that doesn't seem to be happening, because if Afghanistan want to qualify, then England have to beat South Africa by at least 207 runs, which is a huge margin. Now, and if England are chasing if they are batting in the second innings, then they have to chase down the target set by South Africa in 11.1 overs. Well, both these above conditions have been assumed after a first innings total to be of 300 or more in both cases. So in that case, England chasing down a target of 300 and more in just 11.1 overs is next to impossible. It seems really impossible. But for England, defeating South Africa by at least 207 runs, quite possible, but not that practical, So that's the case. And if South Africa England versus England match gets washed out, then what happens? Then South Africa and England will settle with a point each. In that case, England will finish the tournament, the Champions Trophy, with just 1 point. But if this game's washed out, then South Africa will have 4 points and qualify for the semi-finals. Yes, as we saw in the points table, South Africa are currently having 3 points, and if their clash against England gets washed out, both England and South Africa will get 1 point each. In that case, England will be having just 1 point in their kitty from 3 games, whereas South Africa will end with 4 points from 3 matches. Then the number 1 and number 2 position in the Group B will be decided depending upon the best net run rate. Now, in such a scenario, when Afghanistan is really praying for some miracle, they are keeping their fingers crossed. And you guys, do let us know if England can defeat South Africa by such a huge margin, and if Afghanistan has a chance to qualify. But for more such updates, keep watching Cricket Next.